I've had a lot of people reach out asking for a follow-up video to our dog attack series, so here you go. Now I'm going to try to keep this brief, and I'm also going to try to answer a lot of questions I had from the other videos. The first thing to keep in mind is that dogs are domesticated animals, which means they have a natural fear of humans bred into them. This does not work on mountain lions. This does not work on bears. There's a lot of animals that probably won't work on. Those are wild animals. Dogs are a lot different. Now, there's a lot of bad advice online. I'm going to try to dispel all of that today. And you need to really understand that I'm talking about how to survive a dog attack, not how to meet a new dog, not how to handle a dog that's walking up to you and making you vaguely uncomfortable. Those are different scenarios. I'm talking about what to do if a dog actually attacks you. It's key that you can make that distinction quickly, and you're going to make that distinction pretty much based upon the dog's body language. So a dog that wants to attack you is probably going to be running at you. They're going to have direct eye contact on you. And the thought is you need to protect yourself. That's number one. The first thing is not being polite to the dog or maybe their owner who knows where they are. The first thing you have to do is protect yourself. If you're convinced that dog's about to attack you, you need to stand up for yourself. No one else is going to do it. Now, this video is also about what to do assuming you don't have weapons. We get a lot of comments on our other videos. If you have a gun and you feel like it's safe to use it at that point, that's your call. Go for it if you think it's appropriate. Most people aren't carrying a weapon, or if they are, they don't really care about a video like this. They already have their own ideas about what to do. So this is what to do if you either don't have a weapon or maybe you have something like mace or a stick on you. Those can be great options. Now, the first thing, when you've decided the dog is going to attack you, people will tell you don't look at the dog, don't make eye contact, avoid the gaze because that's going to set the dog off. Here's the thing, if that dog is attacking you, he's attacking you. So if that dog's coming in for the attack and you try to not make eye contact and you look away to diffuse the situation, you're just going to have a dog blast into your body, grab your leg, arm, if it's big enough, maybe your neck. Don't do that. Do not take your eyes off the dog. That's rule number one. The next thing is never, ever, ever run from that dog. You're not going to be faster than him. There's just almost no chance of that. On top of that, if you run, that triggers their prey drive. They're going to get excited. If they were like 90% sure they were going to attack you and you run, now they're 100%. So the only time I would encourage going somewhere else is if you know you have time. So if that dog's coming at you and you look and you're like, oh, there's a tree and you're physically able to climb a tree, yeah, do it, right? Go up the tree. If you see there's a fence 6 feet away from you and the dog's 25 feet and you say, I can make that, I can run and jump that before the dog gets here, obviously you should take that. If you can get in a car, getting on top of a car is okay. Depends on the dog. Some might come up there with you, so you have to really think about that. But point being, if you have a way to get out of there, you should do it. If you're carrying mace, that's a great option. So if that dog is coming at you, I would spray them without a doubt. And I would spray more than you think you need. And I would actually, eyes are fine, but if that dog keeps coming in, I would go for the mouth and obstruct their breathing. And I'll try to touch base on that a little bit later. Now, another thing I want you to think about is you should discriminate against breed. And this is gonna, I'm sure, make a lot of people angry, and they're probably like already typing a mean comment right now. But here's the thing. My own dogs, I have a cattle dog and I have a Rottweiler Akita mix. All three of those breeds right there are breeds I would discriminate against. If I see an Akita, a Rottweiler, a cattle dog, a pit bull, a German shepherd, any of those running at me with their tail up, kind of tough posture staring at me, I'm gonna be really worried and I'm gonna get myself ready to protect myself. If I see a golden coming to me, I can tell you right now, I have never seen on the news a golden killing someone. I've never seen a golden maul somebody. Now they bite some people, but it's not charging new people and attacking them. So if I see a golden coming down the street, I'm going to react a lot differently, and I want you to do the same. Don't let anyone convince you that you should treat every dog the same. That's foolish. Dogs are bred for different purposes. A dog that's been bred to attack, defend, or fight is a much bigger threat to you, and you need to be ready for that. All right, so what do you do if the dog actually comes in? So there's no way I'm going to avert my gaze. I'm actually do the opposite. Now here, look at me, I'm not a huge dude. I'm not trying to like show off that I'm like super intimidating or super tough. Any of you can do this watching at home. So you don't need to have like tons of martial arts training or huge muscles or any of those things. The goal here is you need to show that dog that you're not someone to mess with. And you need to channel that. You need to be a little bit crazy and you need to feel confident in what you're doing. So I would make eye contact. And by eye contact, I'm not like this, just kind of looking. It would be this, and it would be kind of crazy eyes as I approach the dog, and I would be screaming. So I would go right to that dog, and I would be yelling something like, get out of here, go home, get, with crazy eyes as I go towards them. My hands are not going to be low. So people sometimes put their hands down. They're like, hey, get back, buddy. I don't know why they do it. I don't understand. I've seen a lot of videos of this happening. Please don't do that. Hands down is asking for the dog to grab your hand or even your face as it gets low. So hands up, I would suggest making fists if you can. And I've said this in a few other videos, not because you're boxing or you're like so tough you're going to hit the dog. It's that if your hands are up, if a dog manages to grab one, at least it's your entire fist, versus if your hands are like this and they come down for a second and the dog comes forward and you try to block them and they grab your fingers, there's a good chance you're losing multiple fingers and then you're bleeding pretty severely. I'd much rather have the dog beyond my fist. Now, a couple other things to think about. I'm a fan of using your leg to defend yourself because you don't have many good options. So if you go to the dog and you're screaming and you're saying get back and you're channeling all your craziness and that dog launches itself for you or it keeps coming forward, I would use my foot. There's no way I'm going to punch that dog, just not a chance. First off, your hand coming down, there's a good chance they're just going to grab your hand. Also, you don't have as much power, and unless the dog is up here, which is really unlikely, you're punching down, which means your face is coming down and towards the dog. That's asking for death. You gotta keep your neck and face away. So I would use my foot. Now, I've said this in other videos, and people seem to have trouble with it. I'll give you some more detail than I have in the other ones. So don't lead with your toe and don't turn your foot sideways. Here's what I mean by that. If you lead with your toe like that, hey, get out of here, dog, get, like that kind of like weak kick, like please leave me alone, and you're just flinging your foot out there with your toe, that is so easy for that dog to grab, shake their head, pull you off balance, and now it's probably lights out for you if this is a tough breed dog. I also wouldn't do what would, like a side kick where you would turn, and hopefully, I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but if you turn and put your leg like this and you try some sort of side kick, the problem is as your foot turns sideways, it's much easier for the dog to grab it and now shake and whip you off balance. So I would keep my foot vertical and I would reach out and I would try to strike with the ball of the foot. Now, I told you I'm not super tough and I am not. Now, I have decent balance, but nothing amazing. But as you do this, what I would want you to do is try to keep your hands up. So not hands down here, not like, kicking them like this. I would do hands up, either a fist or up here. And as you go forward to strike, I would lean back. Let me show you, I guess, not leaning back. What I don't want you to do is this, like, get out of here, dog. And you kick them like that. Because look what I did. I settled a little bit, right? So imagine that dog's coming for me and I step in to kick him and I miss the dog. Well, what happens if you're going fast and you do one of these and you come forward, you're towards the dog and you're down low, once again, asking for trouble. So I would stay up and I would actually lean back a little bit if you can. So if the dog was running at me and I didn't even have time to get towards them, he's just full speed run, my kick would look like this. It would be stepping forward and I would have hands up, trying to keep my head back a little bit as I kick with the ball of the foot. And you'll see this. I'm not a martial arts instructor, not even anywhere close to that, but you'll see this. A lot of times this is a knife defense. So what they'll do is if someone's coming at you with a knife, they'll do a strike like this, or a kick like that, and they're covering their throat and keeping their face farther away. Same thing with the dog, because we don't know what that dog's gonna do. He might launch himself at you. So you might be going for this kick and you do this and the dog comes up over the top of your leg. If that happens, you're going to be happy that you are like this versus this. If you're doing this and it comes over your leg, it's straight into your face. So the type of kick matters, but the biggest thing is energy. You don't have to be tough. You don't have to be crazy. You just have to convince the dog that you are. That's huge. Now, let's talk about what do we do if this fails? So I've shown you this kick and I've told you, I would not try to punch the dog. So let's say, this is all going to happen so quick, right? So let's say you do this kick and all of a sudden maybe you kick the dog or you miss and it comes up and it grabs your arm. Excuse me. That's obviously a big problem. If that dog is attached to your arm, you have no great options. So you have a couple. One is you can hope there's passerby, but if this is a tough breed dog, and I'm not picking on pit bulls here, but pits are responsible for more human deaths than all of their breeds combined because they're a lot tougher than most other breeds. If it's attached to your arm, punching it is not going to work. So if this dog grabs on your arm and you're like trying to strike it, whether it's a hammer fist or a punch, unless you're a really, really, really tough person, most likely that's not going to work. Now, if you have pepper spray and you've got this dog attached to your arm and you can somehow get it and get it out and spray, I would go for the nose or in the mouth. You're trying to obstruct their breathing. Going for the eyes is fine, but if you have a dog attached to your arm, spraying their eyes is probably not going to do anything. So I'm going for nose and mouth to obstruct their breathing. You can try to put something around their neck. Here's the thing. If you can do that, more power to you. So I've got a belt on. So in theory, if I had a dog attached, could I undo my belt, pull it out, and then somehow get it around the dog's neck and slowly get it to where it's tight and now choke the dog? In theory, yes. In real life, I don't see that happening. Now, that's a defense I would use for somebody else. If I saw a dog attached to someone's arm over there and I had nothing else with me, I would take my belt off and I would put it around the dog and I would obstruct its breathing until it let go. But on your own arm, probably not that likely to actually work. I would go for the eyes. So if you have a dog attached to your arm, I would take thumb and I would put it, and I know this sounds terrible and it's not politically correct, but I would put my thumb right there inside the eye and try to scoop that eye out. At that point, this dog is probably dead anyways. If this dog is attached to your arm in an unprovoked attack, it's probably going to get taken away and get euthanized. Your job is to protect yourself. So I would absolutely go for the eye. The thing you need to think about is dogs don't back down very easily once they've gotten into attack mode. So if you, let's say you did that with the eye and the dog lets go, you cannot be like, oh good, I'm safe. You're nowhere close to safe. There's a chance that dog lets go and comes right back for more. So if you did that and you've got the thumb in the eye, I want you thinking about what your next move is. And if that dog lets go, I'm going to be turning with a strike with my leg as soon as I possibly can. You might be saying to yourself, how are you going to remember all of this? Or could you actually do this in the moment? Who knows? But you have to have a plan. If you haven't thought through this, there's just no way you're going to do any of it. But I want you thinking, this dog lets go, it's probably coming back for more. Same with that initial rush. If that dog comes at you and you do this like great kick and you feel awesome about it, you step in and bam, as hard as you can, you kick them right in the muzzle. If you do that and stop, most likely, if that's a tough dog, it's coming back for more. So if I did that kick and I struck as hard as I could, I might back up for a split second to reevaluate, and then I would be screaming and coming at it again. Now, people will tell you this is going to escalate the situation. You need to think in your mind all the time, you are only doing this if a dog has actually attacked you or shown it's going to. We've got other videos on dog body language and how to diffuse a situation. That's a whole different story. If I have a dog coming at me and it's not attacking, it's just like menacing me and it's like mean mugging me and staring at me, I'm not going to turn to him and scream and go crazy. I'll probably avert my gaze a little bit. Like if he was right there, I'd probably be looking towards the camera. And there's a good chance I'd be trying to slowly kind of at a 45-degree angle back out of the situation. Not a retreat. I'm not going to turn my back. I'll never do that to a strange dog. But I might back out of there in case he's protecting his yard or something, a bone or something he has or another dog, who knows what. So there's times where you're not going to go crazy. You're going to try to get out of there, but that's when a dog is not attacking you. Now, common question we get is, what about your dog? If you have a dog with you, there's no great answers here. If I have a small dog, I'm picking him up. Simple as that. There's a huge risk involved, of course, but there's a good chance if a dog, let's say a pit, a rot, a shepherd is charging you, there's a good chance if you have a dog that he's actually trying to attack your dog and not you. So if you can pick that dog up and keep it away and scream at the other dog and kick at him, there's a really good chance you can save your dog's life, and it's not going to be as hard as you think to get the other dog out of there. Now, if you have a big dog and you can't do that, I would try keeping the big dog behind me. So I would for sure try getting the dog behind and doing everything I just talked about while you keep your dog behind you. At some point though, if the dog, they typically circle, so you'd be turning with them, never show them your back. So they might be trying to get behind you to get to your dog, which is really common. If they get behind at some point, you might need to make the decision to let your dog go. And I don't mean let them go and then leave. I mean, unclip their leash, let them go. They can defend themselves better when you're not holding them back. And now you've got a leash in your hand. If you've got a leash in your hand, you've got a few options. One is you can use it as a weapon to whip the dog. And if you catch them in the head, like the eye in that area, there's a good chance it'll stun them enough to slow them down. If it turns into a horrific fight and that dog is now attached to your dog, you've got that leash to put around their neck and tighten up. So I know all of this stuff, it sounds scary, it sounds mean, it sounds cruel. None of this is fun, none of it's PC, none of it's nice to the animal. But keep in mind, if that dog's attacked you, it's at the end of its life anyways, most likely. So your only thought should be protecting yourself. If you have questions, let me know. I can make as many follow-up videos as you guys would like.